One of my favorite researchers is called Larry Hamilton. He is at the University of New Hampshire, and Larry asks people questions, and then he divides their answer out into groups that make sense to figure out what's going on. So Larry, just last week, and I will post a link to this in the chat after we're done, just last week, Larry Hamilton asked people, do you see evidence for climate change in the recent extreme events that have occurred? And that includes, of course, the hurricanes and the wildfires. And then he took their answers and he divided them out. Oh, that's awesome, Matt. Yes. He took their answers and he divided their answers out based on how they self-identify politically. So he gave people 5 choices. They could say whether they were liberal, moderate, moderately conservative, or conservative. So you kind of pick where they were on the spectrum. Okay? So people who self-categorize themselves as liberal or moderately liberal, between 80 to 90% of those people said yes, they see evidence for a changing climate in recent extreme events. Okay. Now we get to the people who are moderate. People who are politically moderate were 50-50. They were 50-50 on whether they see climate change in recent extreme events. And then we get to the moderately conservative and the conservative, and by the time you get down to conservative, you're down to about 25% of people saying yes. Now here's the thing though, Larry's asking these questions in New Hampshire, and none of these events hit New Hampshire. So I would be fascinated to know, and I don't know the answer to this, I would be fascinated to know, do those numbers change if we ask people who actually live in the locations that were hit?